The Dallas Stars are off and running to a 3-0 start. Can they remain unbeaten tonight against a young and exciting San Jose Sharks club? We'll break it all down next on Locked On Stars.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a glorious time to be a Dallas Stars fan. The Stars are 3-0, coming off back-to-back shutouts, one by Casey DeSmith and one by Jake Ottinger. And now the San Jose Sharks come to town, unfortunately, without Macklin Celebrini. He was placed on the injured reserve just a few days ago, so we will not see two hopefuls to be Calder finalists in Logan Stankoven and Celebrini, but don't be fooled. San Jose has plenty of other weapons, as the Stars found out last season when they had to erase a couple of multi-goal leads by San Jose to come up with a few wins. So it should be an exciting night at the American Airlines Center. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We'll play Shooting Star a bit later on, and I want to talk about some of the matchups in this game as well, because the Sharks have a lot of young, exciting players that you need to know before tonight's contest. But first, I want to break down sort of what we've seen in the first three games from the Dallas Stars. And obviously, they've won all three, and that's a good start, but it hasn't necessarily been Dallas Stars hockey as of yet. There's been glimpses, of course, and I don't want to alarm any bells at this point, but just want to sort of lay out there what we've seen in the first three games. So my eye sort of immediately goes to the Corsi for percentage and expected goals, right? How can we measure the Stars team offensively? Of course, they have executed at a very high level in the first three games. It hasn't been very consistent, but man, when they've had their chances, they have been able to bury pucks. And you look at the expected goals percentage, and this comes from moneypuck.com, and the Stars currently ranked 25th at 44.11% in expected goals percentage, which is way down from a year ago. And again, this is a small sample size, but sort of just throwing out there what we've seen and how Dallas has a lot of room to improve. And that's why I feel extremely good about the Dallas Stars, because they haven't really played their best hockey yet. And I wasn't expecting that right off the hop either, but they have a lot of room for improvement. Last season, they were within the top 10 in expected goals percentage. Through the first three games, their Corsi for percentage, which for those of you who do not know, and I know I throw this around here all the time, and I should probably update it every once in a while as we go to give you an explanation for why I think the Corsi for percentage can be important. It measures shot attempts versus your opposition, and it includes all of them, right? Block shots, even when they miss the net. And it can give you an idea of who has the puck more and who's generating more chances. That is sort of what this number boils down to. And it's not the end-all, be-all. Look, the Stars haven't been good in this number the first three games, and they've won. So do you really care about it? I don't know, but it is a measurement that I like to use because I think it gives us a glimpse of where the Dallas Stars want to be as well. Last season, they were comfortably in the top 10 in terms of their Corsi for percentage. They're 27th ranked right now at 43.41, and this is via Natural Stat Trick. And this is all at 5-on-5. I really encourage all of you to go take a look at it as well on Natural Stat Trick. It is free, and you can get all kinds of numbers. And I think it gives you a good idea of how some players are performing, and it can sometimes reinforce your views on a certain player, or maybe it's contrary to your belief, right? Eli Labushkin in the first game against Nashville, he was on the ice for 3 of the goals, and he didn't grade out very well. But my eye test says he's been playing pretty well And Lyubushkin has had a phenomenal start to the season. I've been very pleased with what I've seen from him and Niels Lundqvist. The defense has been very, very steady to begin the season. And look, I know the goaltending's been great too with Ottinger and DeSmith within the first 3 games, but we have to show some love to the back end for limiting some of the high quality chances, especially against Seattle the other night. That was their strongest defensive performance of the year so far. They give up some high quality looks here and there, but that's going to happen, right? But for the most part, I think they've done a really good job as a unit, and it hasn't necessarily been one pairing. It hasn't necessarily been one defenseman. Miro and Harley have been playing with different partners. Lindell has sort of been that Swiss Army knife for Alan Nazardine and Coach Pete DeBoer. He's been kind of paired with Lundqvist and Lyubushkin at points. We still have no update on Matt Dumba. I don't believe he's going to play tonight. We'll have a more clear vision on his injury and outlook probably by the end of today. And we're hopeful that Maverick Bourque can play as well. Still do not have an update as of this Monday evening. So when you're consuming this before the game, we could have some more clarification on Maverick Bourque. My gut is that Bourque plays tonight. That's sort of my gut feeling, but they want to be extra cautious and rightfully so. And I did mention this in yesterday's episode, but I sort of want to reinforce the point when it comes to the offense, because it hasn't been consistent for 60 minutes, right? They haven't put together a full game yet, but I think Maverick Bourque is going to be the solution to some of the problems that we've seen when it comes to line chemistry, and I think just overall play up front. With Maverick Bourque out of the lineup, it forces Pete DeBoer to have to juggle some of the lines, and he moved Johnston down with Jamie Benn, and he moved Stankoven off that top line to sort of get Wyatt Johnston going, even though, I mean, he's been phenomenal. He leads the team in expected goals at 5-on-5 in the first 3 games. So really, I think you can put Johnston anywhere and he's going to thrive. But there really hasn't been a very great fit for Dodonov, either on that top line or with Johnston and Ben. I think his role on that 4th line with Sam Steele and possibly Oscar Beck, who I think is making a case to play a lot here this season. He's been very good. And look, he's been as advertised when it comes to a Radek Faksa type, like very responsible, works hard, great on the wall, and hopefully he can start to pitch in some offense. So the Stars are going to have a lot of bodies they can use, especially on that 4th line with Colin Blackwell, who's made a very nice impression as well. I think Dodonov on that 4th line will really help because it gives them some speed in that bottom 6. I think that'll really help stretch out the ice for that 4th line right now that doesn't have that extra gear, right? With Steele, Blackwell, and Beck, they're not glorious skaters. Like Dodonov has some juice still in those legs in his early 30s. He's got some juice. So I'm looking forward to getting Bourque back in the lineup, and I think everything will fall in place, and we'll see better chemistry from all the 4 trios, because they spent the majority of camp in the preseason with that idea in their mind, and they weren't able to go to that on day 1 because of this injury. So I think you're going to start seeing the Stars play more Dallas Stars hockey, right? Possession-based. Part of the issue has been as well, they haven't been great on the dots to begin the season. They've been pretty disappointing in that area, and they're going to improve. They just have way too many good players that win a lot of draws. So we'll see how that sort of improves as we go along. But right now they're ranked. Let's see here. Trying to find where they are on this list. But they haven't been necessarily liked. 29th. Yeah, they're very far down there. I didn't think it was that bad. 44.9%. So 4th worst in the league for a team in the last, I want to say 5 years, has been within the top 5 every single season. Perennially is up there. And they're going to get back to that. But look, they lost Joe. He was important. Delandria was good in the dots as well. Foxa, I mean, how many draws did he win on the penalty kill? So they're going to have to improve there, and that'll certainly help some of the possession numbers and the Stars getting on the attack a bit more. But I will say, I feel that the forwards have been instrumental in the start defensively for Dallas as well. Very, very responsible. I mean, Jason Robertson has made a half dozen plays in his own zone. Wyatt Johnson on the penalty kill has been great. Logan Stankoven, I mean, that pretty much explains itself. Rope Hintz, of course, one of the best defensive forwards in all of the NHL. They have been very, very huge in this Dallas Stars defense, defending as a unit. And I think maybe the Stars have put a bit more emphasis on some of their defending early with the new pieces on the back end. And maybe DeBoer wants to sort of employ a defensive-minded unit up front at first for the first few weeks so everybody can get their legs underneath them. And then now this Matt Dumba injury throws a wrench into things. But then you can start to see the offense open up. And it's all going to come with time. There's just some rust. Plus, I think there's a lot to be said with the shortness of the preseason in camp in general. These teams just do not practice a ton together. They don't have a lot of ice time, and not everybody's playing in every preseason game. So the first 10 games are sort of like a preseason for the majority of the lineup. And then we're going to see them start to find a bit of rhythm and get their groove back, so to speak. So look, the numbers I'm throwing out there, again, it's 3 games. I'm not trying to sound any alarms, but these are some of my takeaways and what we've seen through the first 3 games. I think this first 10, if they can continue to win and not play their best, is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And then they'll start to find their legs, and I think really start to find their game and their identity, right? I guess there really hasn't been an identity right off the hop besides we're going to destroy teams if they make mistakes. Because every mistake an opponent has made so far, it feels like it's ended up in the back of the net, and they've struck so quickly. By the way, a fun fact for you. This comes via Josh Clark. He tweeted this out on a Monday and wanted to share this with you. This is the first time in franchise history that the Stars have never trailed through the first 3 games of the season. So how about that? Stars are off to a glorious start. And I said it was going to be hard to repeat what they did last season. Well, boy, they may shattered it. They may shatter it at this point. And we'll see if they can remain unbeaten tonight against San Jose at the American Airlines Center. Let's break down the Sharks a bit, who they have, some names and key players to look out for, a lot of a young and exciting talent in San Jose, which is good. It's good for the league. It's good for the Sharks as well. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. I know all of you enjoyed a Sunday full of football despite the Cowboys' loss, but FanDuel allows you to win even if the Cowboys are going to struggle and continue to be all in this season. I can't help but take shots at them sometimes. I can't help it, but I apologize, okay? The Dallas Stars are where the money can be made, though. They have won so many games, but get in on the action with FanDuel. Seriously, FanDuel.com. You can download it on your phone. It's free, it's available, and it's great. It's fantastic. So you can watch the games and live bet. That's what's so exciting. Get a hunch, man. You go right in there, sprinkle a little cash on it. FanDuel.com. Again, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So a San Jose Sharks team that tanked last season. I put that in quotations. They didn't tank. But man, they gave the Stars fits in the 3 games they played. Did all 3 games go past regulation? I may be mistaken on that. I know they had to erase a 3-goal lead in the third and they won. I believe they went to a shootout at home. I think they went to overtime in all 3 of the games, and now they have more firepower. So unfortunately, without Macklin Celebrini, but a couple of players that I want to throw out there. Fabian Zetturland. He's a fun player along with William Eklund. Those are 2 guys to keep your eyes on. Zetterland's just 25 years old and Eklund is 22, and they have been off to a really nice start. The Sharks are 0-1 to begin the season. They had a big lead against St. Louis, and they lost. They lost late in that one, and then they lost 2-0 to Anaheim a few days ago. But look, the Sharks are doing what you want to see out of them too. They're young and exciting, and they can lose still. They have room to lose, and they can continue to just stack talent. Another player is Will Smith. He was a high draft pick just a few years ago. He's without a point, though, in the first 2 games. He was taken 4th overall in 2023 out of Boston College. He's a fun watch as well. So, look, they have plenty of weapons, and they've now surrounded some veteran presence around them. Like Tyler Toffoli is there. You have Barclay Goodrow, who's acquired in the offseason. Mikael Granlund, who beat up on the Stars a bit last season. This is a great test for Dallas. I think this is a fantastic test early on against a Sharks team that's young and they want to prove themselves. They are hungry to win. They don't have the makeup of a team that can do that consistently enough, but boy, they can shock you in a hurry if you don't show up to play. So the first period is going to be very, very important tonight. And Dallas really struggled with some of those starts last season, especially on home ice. Really struggled to get off to good starts. Hopefully that's not the case, because San Jose can make you pay. They just have way too much skill and talent. Look for Dallas to sort of provide a physical presence and sort of see how much San Jose wants it, right? Because they can be innocent and naive, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And they're going to be a fun watch. And the Stars will get to see Ty Dellandrea as well. He's played in the first 2 games. So the former Star will return as well. So there's a little extra added in storyline there for you. Can't wait to see Ty Dellandrea, who was traded in the offseason. Unfortunately, there just wasn't a great fit for him here in Dallas, even though you could certainly make the case he could be on that 4th line. You could certainly make that case, but he gets a chance to play every day now, and he's playing just over 9 minutes in the first 2 games. So he's another player to look out for in today's game. The goaltending matchup looks like it'll be Jake Ottinger versus Mackenzie Blackwood. Blackwood lost in OT. He gave up 5 goals. He was .875 save percentage in that game against St. Louis. Their backup, though, is Vitek Vanacek as well. So we could possibly see him. So they have a couple of veterans there as well in between the pipes. But yeah, I think it's a great test right off the hop for Dallas against a young San Jose team that's going to have a lot of juice. So we'll see if Dallas is ready for the game tonight, right? I think that first 10 minutes, are they engaged right away? And hopefully what you want to do against these young teams is just try to bury them early, try to get up a few goals, and hopefully it takes the will out of them. But these young teams as well, they're not going to go away. They understand what's sort of going on in terms of, look, we're probably not going to win a lot of games, so don't worry about the scoreboard. Just play, right? Just play and the scoreboard will figure itself out. So they're never out of games. They'll never be out. And I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Unfortunately, Celebrini is not going to be in. Him and Stankoven would have been a ton of fun. But speaking of the Calder, man, it looks like Stankoven can really assert himself. He's already got 4 points this season. I want to take a look at the numbers among rookies here to begin the season, because he's got to be up there. But he's been off to a fantastic start along with Mason Marchment, Marchment, good night. He's just been impactful all over the place. So we're probably going to get a pretty standard game from Mason Marchment, who is impacting the game on every level, on the score sheet, in the box. He's doing a little bit of everything. The Wi-Fi doesn't want to work for me all of a sudden. So, but I imagine he's got to be up there for a Calder finals now. With Celebrini's injury, he has to miss at least 7 days from when they last played. So we don't necessarily know the severity of it. It's a lower body injury, I believe, as well. And hopefully he's back soon, because he's a young star. And at 18, man, he's exciting to watch. there was a reason he was a number 1 pick. But anyways, those are some of the matchups to look out for. Some of the key players for San Jose ahead of tonight's game at the American Airlines Center. 7 o'clock puck drop. It will be on Victory Plus. Speaking of Victory Plus, I did want to touch on this, and I forgot about it. I think it's been great so far. I know a lot of people are having some issues. I will say, when I've watched on my phone is when I seem to have more issues than when I'm at home and watching on TV. On my TV, I have a Roku TV. I have had no issues. I think it's been great. I like the graphics. I like the score bug. I know they've had some issues at points in that home opener, but that's just sort of behind the scenes stuff, and they're going to figure all that out. And I haven't seen it since night 1. So if that's the worst thing that's going to happen on a broadcast, that is a great broadcast. To say the least. But I think it's been great. I know some people are having issues, and I feel for those for those people. That can be extremely frustrating. Trust me, I get it, when all you want to do is just relax and watch a game, and technology doesn't want to cooperate. And hopefully that's not an issue with Victory Plus as much as maybe it's like connection and stuff. Hopefully it's something that's out of your control is what I'm saying. And you can sort of point the finger on. It's like, okay, well, there's something wrong here. So we'll see how it all goes. But I think it's been fabulous so far. I've had no issues, but I apologize to any of you that are having some struggles out there trying to tune in to games. But that's been my experience so far. All righty, let's get back to Shooting Star. Always love the Shooting Star segment. I've hit 1 out of the first 3 games. The fans are 0 for 3. By the way, go to the YouTube community tab. Before the game, I put out a few options. You can vote as well. If enough of you vote for a certain player that I did not put up there on the poll, I will choose that as the fans' decision as well. But for right now, I'm doing the most percentage of fans, and we've had about 100 votes on each of them so far. So thank you for participating in that, and continue to do that. We're going to see how many me and the listeners, all you fantastic listeners of Locked On Stars, can get throughout the season. Speaking of that, go ahead and do that, and let me know in the comment section. I'll share mine in just a moment. Hey guys, sometimes you ever feel like you need a little boost in the bedroom? Well, Hims is there for you. It's time to stop worrying about your performance and get Hims so you can feel confident knowing that you're in the mood whenever you need to be in the mood. It's changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for those uncomfortable doctor's visits. It can be uncomfortable to talk about these things, but it's okay with Hims. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. With hundreds and thousands of trusted subscribers, Hims can help you find the ED option that works for you. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/lockedon. That's HIMS.com/lockedon for your personalized ED treatment options. HIMS.com/lockedon. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products, which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Alrighty, time to jump on my shooting star pick tonight against the San Jose Sharks. I've gone with Jake Ottinger, and he made me look pretty good on opening night. I went with Jason Robertson and Wyatt Johnston the past few games. It feels right that I have to go with Logan Stankoven this time. After his incredible game against San Jose towards the end of last season, I'm going with Stanky as my shooting star. First time I picked him this season. So I'm feeling Logan Stankoven tonight. He asserts himself into the Calder conversation. He will not be denied. And let's face it, he can do a lot for himself while Celebrini is injured. And we hate to see it, of course, but it does give Stankoven some breathing room to get off to a really hot start. And he can be the first Dallas Star to win the Calder. That's what we're looking for. So hopefully he has a huge night against the Sharks. I'm going with Logan Stankoven. Let me know your pick in the YouTube community tab. I have a spreadsheet out here. I've even done a spreadsheet. Can you believe that? I'm really bad at Excel, but it works for me, and I'm putting all of our picks in there, and we're going to find out how we did at the end of the season. And of course, it doesn't have to be a player that scores necessarily. It helps, but we're looking for a player of the game. So DeSmith and Ottinger got the last two players of the game. It's hard not to after what we saw. I gave Ottinger and Stankoven the split on opening night because I think they were both too good. I think they were both very good. I mean, you can't shy away from 3 assists, and you can't look away from what Otter did. So I gave a bit of a half point there. Again, we're still getting some more information on Matt Dumba. Did not learn anything new on a Monday. And Maverick Bork, we will have an idea after morning skate. So be on the lookout for those updates. Probably as you're consuming this right now, we'll know if Maverick Bork is ready to go. But the Dallas Stars will look to remain unbeaten tonight against the San Jose Sharks that come to town for this 3-game homestand as the Dallas Stars. Can they go 3 shutouts in a row? Hopefully I didn't jinx it, but I'm just throwing it out there. That would be pretty sweet before they go on the road to face the Caps on Thursday. So that'll do it for a Tuesday edition of Locked On Stars. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. The numbers on each and every episode have been fantastic. I appreciate all of you wonderful listeners. For those of you that are new, I'm Joey Erickson. I do this podcast every single day here on Locked On Stars, or part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And thank you for joining us. Let's continue to grow this community. It is fantastic. And the Dallas Stars make it very easy, to say the least. They make it very easy to talk Stars hockey. Alrighty, that'll do it. Enjoy your Tuesday, and we'll break down the entire game tomorrow, hopefully with the Stars victory. So long, Stars fan.